Good morning. Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Joy Harris, and this is Global Heart Healing Podcast with conversations about our healing journeys. And today we are going to switch it up a little bit, and Sarah Patstone is going to ask me questions so that I can share my story with you. And yeah, here we go. Thank you so much for being with me, Sarah. I am so grateful.
Thank you, Joy. So we've got several questions to ask. We'll just kick off, shall we? There's no point in delaying.
No.
So the first question, Joy, I want to ask you is to share a little bit about your personal healing journey and what led you to create Global Heart Healing.
Well, that's a very long story. I think my healing probably started, as most of us, it started when I was a child. Um, and some of that was from just different trapped things that needed to be healed. But I was also really lucky enough to be raised by two wonderful mom and dad, two parents that were just great. And they were really into personal development. They actually were teaching Dale Carnegie courses when I was very young. Um, and I just loved my life. I lived on a ranch. There was some things that needed to be healed, and there are things that I've worked on throughout the years. But not so much in my core family, more later with my grandmother and some ancestral things. And so I went on and grew up. My favorite thing to do, though, when I was young was when we were all out working on the ranch. If there was something that they needed that they didn't have, I would get on my pony and ride like the wind, and lickety split, I would be back with what they needed. And I've always loved that. I loved being able to find what someone needs and deliver that in a way that is quick and easy and efficient. And just, I love being a helper. I love helping people. I loved helping my family. And all of that is within all of us. And for me, it's really strong. And so I did a lot of things. It's a very long story, so we won't get into all of that. Maybe another time. But I then went into holistic health and nutritional counseling, and did that for, gosh, a lot of years. I started muscle testing when my oldest daughter was 5 years old. She was sick a lot. Her dad was sick a lot. And we became known as the sick Harris family. And there's a lot of Harris families in this town. So that was, and it was the pharmacist that called us that. He told me that years later.
That's fun.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that at that time I was like, there's just got to be a better way. We can't just keep going to the doctor or going to the pharmacist. I don't want to live like this. We need to do something different. And we were going to the chiropractor, and he mentioned that he thought that maybe Lane and her dad had sensitivity to milk or dairy. And so that was the first place we started. Then I went into working with an iridologist, and she taught me how to do muscle testing. His aunt gave me this beautiful book called Beyond Antibiotics. And I'm happy to tell you that until recently, through the COVID issues, we had no prescription in our home for over 25 years.
Yeah.
So that was the first part. But then something really happened. I took care of my parents for a number of years. I went back to college and got my degree. And during that, there was a course where you were supposed to kind of relive every business failure you had ever experienced, and then to figure out a way to not have that happen. And that would be what you would teach new people. And honestly, we had some trauma. And between that and taking care of my parents and horrible bosses and my graduation, I wound up with PTSD. And I would tell you that that was a gift. The first thing that happened was I would have this, what I call it, my panic choker. And it was really just my body talking to me. It was giving me information that I needed to take a step back and take care of myself and listen to my body. And, but it definitely got worse. I thought I was having a heart attack almost every night for over 2 weeks. And I was certain that it was emotional because I had done a whole lot of digging. And I just kept, I would call my husband off in his truck and say, help me talk through this. Because I don't want to call the ER. I don't want to go to the ER. I don't want to call the ambulance. I just want to, and my blood pressure was fine. I was monitoring all of that. So the good news is, I did go into the doctor then, and he just looked at me, said, you have PTSD, and he prescribed me, antidepressants. And I was like, this doesn't work for me. I can move about half speed. I may not be having the anxiety, panic attack symptoms that wake me up at night, but this is not functional, and I don't like prescriptions, and I didn't trust what it was doing. So I just found a different way. And I actually found Dr. Steven Sinatra. And then I prayed literally for something that was going to be who I was supposed to be, really satisfactory, my calling. And man, through a series of miracles, it was delivered in the most amazing way. And from that, then it just became deeper. That was in 2017, and there's more to that
Wow.
story. Yeah, 2017. So pretty new. You're
Time
definitely
ago. Yeah, yeah.
well, I'm newer to the energy healing aspect than some people. But it was so strong, and the changes and the miracles that I was able to experience for myself and my family just were immediate. And so I, through this series of miracles, found the body code, the emotion code, and now the belief code. And I was also working in Mind Valley in chakra healing, and I was an ambassador there for over 5 years, and just met the most incredible people who are very consciously choosing to be lifelong learners and improve their health and life and reality.
Yeah.
And so that's how that all came to be. But then I was in this space with people when I was doing healing. I was doing healing. Sometimes I was doing healing for people who really weren't in touch with their body. By the way, energy moves through my body. And I squirm and squeal, and I feel it when I connect to people. So I'm able to really identify where things are trapped for people. And I had some things that were just like a needle in a haystack to find. And I was like, when somebody's kind of intuitive and in touch with their own body and listening, it's easy to help them. They're more clarity.
Yeah.
When you're working with someone who has less of that clarity, it's not as easy. It's actually more, there's more of a veil, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I literally prayed. I was like, you know what? I actually feel like those people don't need less help. Those people need more help. They deserve my attention better. I need to understand. I need deeper intuition. And I prayed really hard for it. Wanted it to come through like, claircognizance, clairaudience, a simple knowing. But no, it came through in this crazy manifestation I literally feel physically energetically trapped emotions, vibrations, imbalances. And that has turned into a glorious thing. And it was so, so strong. And the results that it has brought to people that I work with, myself, my family, I just know all of us have this. All of us have this. It's kind of been hidden away, and it's actually a very safe thing because it's within you. It's not out
Mm.
there. It's not all this noise that's out there telling you 100 things. It's a deep, beautiful connection with the divine, and it's a connection that gives you answers because your heart is here as your partner to help you take
Mhm.
care in your life. So that's it, for me, it really comes straight from the heart, but I feel it all over. And that's how global heart healing came to be, was I have now unearthed my calling. It's who I'm supposed to be, what I was born to do. And our entire world is lifted each time one person heals themselves a little bit. That's what we're here to
Yeah.
do. We're here to
Yeah.
heal, and we're here to help each other heal.
Hmm. Thank you, Joy. It was really interesting for you to say then that even from a small child, you was introduced to personal development, because even these days, children aren't, and
Right.
even many adults are still not into that lifestyle of personal growth and personal development. So that was really quite something for you as a girl.
It
Yeah,
really was.
that's great. Yeah.
And that continued, because when I was 13, my parents were in a company called Dare to Be Great, and I was allowed to become a part of that. Have my own personal um, affiliation with Dare to Be Great, and oh, it was heaven to me. It was helping people to take these motivational courses that unlocked their ability to become their
That's
best.
amazing.
And
What a
I
lovely
loved
name
it.
as well.
Yeah, Dare to Be Great. Isn't that a beautiful name?
It is a
Um,
beautiful. Do they still exist now?
no, that was actually the biggest issue, is that our in America, that wasn't exactly something they wanted to have happen. So the government
No.
kept shutting it down. And we moved from Oklahoma back to New Mexico to stay with it. And then it also got shut down there. But what I
Mm.
learned in that never left me, and how I felt like I knew what I should do with my life.
Yeah.
Um, and so really when Mind Valley came along, which was really it was kind of essentially the modern version of that, um, and people very intent. I loved being able to be involved and serve that mission. And then I wanted my own personal mission. And it's such a story of how that got started, how I found it. But I knew when I found I told my husband I had just finished graduating my second time from college, and I also had just gone through this episode where I had been having the heart attacks and stuff. So it was just October 21st, 2017. And I actually had read a little thing. I'd taken care of my mom for a long time, and she had died about a year and a half before. And I had um I don't know if I was going to tell this story, but it's really precious how it came to be, and I think it represents the tapestry of magic of how energy works in our lives. um so kind of to reward myself, I bought myself an astrological chart for a year from a woman that my mom had bought me one, gosh, probably 15 years before. And it had something for every day. But the thing that really jumped out at me was that it said on October 21st, 2017, I would find the online business of my dreams. And I was like, wow, good luck with that, because I've been scammed and I don't trust me, and I'm not gonna and so what I thought was, you know what? I don't have to do it. I just have to tell the universe, I trust you
Yeah.
to deliver this to me, instead of me searching for it. And I want it to be so clear. I want it to drop in my lap. And I did give it three things that I wanted. I wanted it to be fulfilling to my heart,
Hmm.
wanted it to help people,
Yeah.
and I wanted it to be unlimited.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And I had been in other companies where I had really excelled, but when they moved from offline to online, they just didn't know how to do it, and
No.
they changed the policy so much that it just became impossible for me to be successful in the health and wellness counseling anymore. And so that's why I was looking, and had been looking, and had been scammed a few times pretty harshly. So when what happened on October 21st, 2017, really, it comes back to July 4th. My dad, it was the 70th anniversary of the day my dad met my mom. And I knew it was going to be a sad day for him. And I was like, I want this to be a celebration of their love instead of a sad day. So we worked it out with the local museum. He was the distinguished pioneer. We did a whole presentation because he lived through the Dust Bowl days, and just he was a magnificent rodeo cowboy, and he was very well liked. He's a very gregarious person and just precious love. Both of them were. So we did this. My brother came home. We went to the dance after this huge presentation. Our whole family was there. And he's like, "Is that somebody I know?" And he said, "I think she's looking at me." And you guys, 4 weeks later, they were married. And my daughter was the one who could go to their wedding, and she's like, "Mom, I just had so much fun, and I think you'll really enjoy her cousin too. I think, walking into her house is like walking into yours." So lo and behold, 2 months later, we're invited to a brunch at her house on October 21st, 2017. And I literally told my family, I said, I'm not going to open the computer or get online today. We're going to go have a family brunch. And if it's meant to be, it'll come to me. We walked in, the girls were in the car putting on their makeup. The man went to the back, and my brother's new wife said, how are you helping your dad do so well? He's like 90 years old, and I said, well, twice now he's been in rehab for his hip, and he's come home on either 35 or 42 prescriptions. And we've been able to, through muscle testing and working with him and his doctor, we've been able to get that back down to 7 prescriptions only. And I also give him supplements every day that he really needs. And I just muscle test to find what he needs. And with that,
Remarkable.
the
Yeah.
cousin said, "Oh, I have to show you something." And she had been doing this for 5 years, and she had not shown anyone, including her cousin. And she said, I still can't figure out why I even showed it to you. I said, "Oh, I can, because I called it
Yeah.
in."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was part of the universe's plan for me. For me, that's God, but I talk to him every day. So I think that's part of the universe. It's just in my heart. But wherever it is for people, it's okay. It's safe because it's in your heart. Your heart will never steer you wrong. It is your most
No.
constant companion, and you can always go there. So there you go. That's how that all started.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on, and I want to ask what your own heart healing played in shaping your vision for the movement of global heart healing.
Well, that was huge. It really, you guys, it changed me so much. So one of the first things that I did was to release the individual heart wall trapped emotions, that's just part of the practice that I do. But when I did that, it was like I could breathe, and my heart literally ran out in front of me, and it would grab people, and it would tell me where to work, and it was just very clear. And also, um, the mission of spreading this safe knowledge that is inside of us. It is our birthright to heal ourselves and to help other people heal. And it's not unsafe. It's not something that you should be afraid of. And we've been taught that it is. We've been taught to kind of be disempowered. And I'm just here to spread the word. And that's really what I would say that happened when I released my heart. Well, I kind of did it on my
But we're
own.
talking about using emotion code now, aren't we?
The emotion code
Yeah,
and the body code, yes.
yeah,
So I did both of them at the same time. And that's
yeah.
from Dr. Bradley Nilsson. If you're not familiar with it, you can learn a lot more on my website at Joyful Energy Heals. You can go to Discover Healing. There's all kinds of ways to learn more. And we just want everyone empowered, actually. But the other thing that it did, Sarah, and this was very incredible for me, somewhere along the lines, because I was so intent on helping people and asking for the right thing to do and always do no harm. Um, that this started happening, and it was happening fast, and there was so many ways I could go. And I just said, in order for me to know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and working with who I should work with, I'm asking you how I'll know. And I got these words, because I will put them right in front of you. And it's happened ever since. And
Yeah.
the discernment that I get to have now is just astounding. And so, yeah, I'm super grateful for that. And all of that fueled this creation of global heart healing, because each of us, as we heal, we lift the vibration
Yeah.
for everyone.
It's a
And,
ripple
and
effect.
so, we can do it. So we can. So why not? Let's do it. We should.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Joy. Thank you for sharing about your personal experiences from throughout your life, really. I'd like to move on now and ask about your vision for global heart healing. So, what does global heart healing mean to you, and how do you envision it impacting the world?
So there's several aspects or layers to global heart healing, and one is working with truly heart-led practitioners, of which you are one, Sarah, and also beautiful collaborators that have their own beautiful heart-led way of working with people, may or may not be actual practitioners. They may be doing other things, but there's so many ways to help people heal. And honestly, I think everyone needs to know that there's so many ways to heal. And if you go to your heart, and you ask, it will help you find the right ones for you. So
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to know all the answers. It will lead you step by step to answers. Um, but global heart healing, the first aspect of it was to help other healers to come together in a space where we can support each other, where we can grow together, where we can become this group that is global. I was
Yeah.
already working in Mind Valley and with Dr. Nelson's group, and I was like, there's people all around the world, and if we can come together and support each other and be this in alignment with this mission to help unlock heart consciousness and spread a contagion of healing love and light around the world.
Mm.
That's our beacon. That's our mission. That's our vision statement.
Yeah.
Um, and everyone that is working in global heart healing feels that inside of them, and we spread that, and then we have beautiful members and collaborators, and it just grows. And from that, and we truly are global. We are, we have like multiple languages, multiple locations, multiple beautiful hearts helping others heal around the world. And I vision that still to just continue to grow. And we have this podcast now to share it. Our sessions are a little more sacred and private, but this is the way to spread the word and let people know
Yeah.
what is going on and what can be done, and the miracles you can live in,
Yeah.
and in a safe manner. And then other events like our the Healing Power of Love Summit in February. We do events quarterly, with all of us, but we do events weekly that are there for people to come and participate in. And we have the Master Heart sessions, where it's essentially like, um, it's mastermind, but it's coming from the heart. And
Yeah.
it's just other people working with you to help you see some beautiful options that could help you in your daily life, or
Hmm.
or big problems or little problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Global heart healing is, we use the power of intention. We all work together, and we release emotions on behalf of the global heart that are being trapped on a regular basis, especially with this beautiful transition we all find ourselves in.
Yeah. Well, that was actually the next question. How do
Perfect.
you see the connection between personal healing and the global heart healing?
That's so every time we heal, we help ourselves. We then operate and vibrate at a different energy frequency, a little bit more like our own soul frequency. I think that, when we are born, we have that soul frequency. You can see that in children. And then
Mm.
as we grow, some outside noise kind of creeps in, or outside teachings that may or may not be truth for us. And
Yeah.
so every time we're healing, we're coming back closer to that home soul vibration. And every single one of us, with each incremental vibrational step of healing, we lift and the world lifts. And you guys, right now, we're in the shift, this beautiful epic transition. It's it's eons in the making, if not
Mm.
millennia, certainly centuries and centuries in the making. And I think that life is going to be quite unbelievable. um, it is already, for me. My life is already unbelievable. Um,
Yes, and well, again, we're leading into questions here. I haven't even asked yet. What do you hope people will take away from the podcast and the work that Global Heart Healing do?
I hope that they will continue to come back to more podcasts. We already have 7 more episodes recorded. And what we want to do is just help you, help everyone to make healing conversations much more normal, much more
Yeah.
safe. It's still a very sacred space, but I want these to start being everyday normal conversations,
Mhm.
because we are everyday normal people, but we have
Yeah.
all experienced some extraordinary healing, and everyone can. So that's the
Yeah.
first step, is know that it is possible for you.
Yeah. I
And
think you've
we'd like
really,
to be that
you,
shining light that help people know it's possible for them.
yeah,
Then the second step is, I would ask you to join us. Come to a Global Heart Healing session. I do them in English and in Spanish. We've had them in other languages. We'll continue to have them in other languages as well. We have Power of Intention coming up in the new year. We think we're going to have intentional manifestation workshops. We probably will still have occasional gratitude circles. We also do healing summits, which
yeah,
are virtual and also not virtual. Like it's a mix. Sorry, they're all virtual. Some of them are recorded, and some of part of it is live, so that you can
live.
interact with the
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So all of that, and we look for it to grow in the ways that it is meant to grow.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful organization with a life of its own. We have courses called Tap into Your Magic, and several others: Finding Peace, Finding Balance, the Healing Power of Love Summit. So there's lots of ways that you can get involved and that will serve you. Um, and then you can work individually with some of our beautiful heart-led healers and
Yeah.
practitioners. We know things that you don't know yet, and that's just our pleasure to share, um, because we've gotten to experience these healings. We've gotten to be in the middle of them. You guys, I literally live in miracles kind of almost every day. um, I have so much to share, but I'm going to stop with that.
Mm. Thank you, Joy. And it's really interesting that the focus is on changing the narrative, really, because we've never been really encouraged to talk about the positive aspects of our life. Really, we a lot of people focus on the doom and gloom parts, and really they don't need to be there. They don't, and they certainly don't need to take the spotlight. So it's really
Right,
good that we're
right.
shifting into a different space
Yeah.
with this. Yeah, that's
I do,
wonderful.
I do think that it's fascinating. It's kind of a perspective, that it's a shift in perspective. The negative or difficult parts of our lives are still actually happening for us and through us,
Yes.
but not to us. And that shift alone is a magnificent shift, because all of a sudden you realize, wow, everything I've gone through, everything I've been through, everything that has happened, I can learn from, gather the lessons and the blessings, and then I can Blow that energy
Yeah.
away with a
Yeah.
breath of kindness. Take the best and blow the rest away
Yeah.
with a breath of kindness.
So a lot of it is also about being aware, isn't it? It's raising awareness and people having knowledge. With knowledge, the strength and power, and that's where we want to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what would you like listeners to know about you that they might not expect?
Ah, okay. Well, the first thing I would tell you is that for a long time I was afraid of energy healing.
Oh,
I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to go there. I think that that's one of those taboo things. It's not necessarily to be trusted, and I shouldn't go there. Um, and when Lynn showed me this emotion code, body code, and you guys, it was such a natural fit. It was like I took to it like a duck to water because I'd been muscle testing for at this point now 28 years, but at that time it was 23, 20. I'm sorry, that was 2017. It's 2025, 7 years ago. You do the math. That was probably 21 years I'd been doing it. Anyway, I I just was not sure. And I'm still very careful. I still do a lot of discernment about
yeah.
finding the right way, the heart-led way, because there is some that is less than trustworthy, might not be
Mm,
the best place for you to go. But that's why Global Heart Healing is here, is because we definitely feel into this. We listen. We are very aligned with the mission of helping humanity embrace our full potential
yeah.
and in harmony with this beautiful planet Earth that we live on. There's going to be such partnerships develop between humanity and this Earth. You guys, we haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get
No,
magical.
it certainly is, and it's absolutely amazing that there is this space for people as well now. Yeah.
I'm
So
so
when we
grateful.
talk
I'm so
about,
grateful to all of my practitioners. I'm so grateful that I get to do this every day. Um, I wake up happy, I go to bed happy, and in between, if there's something we need to shift or change for someone, we do.
we
It's
do, yeah, yeah.
amazing.
So when you do wake up, how do you balance your role as healer, leader, podcast host, and
Ah,
your self-care and self-healing? How does all that fit together?
it fits actually pretty well. I will have to say the last several years, I was so focused on building. So Joyful Energy Heals was really kind of the first 3-4 years. And then Global Heart Healing, we had our fourth anniversary party in July. So I think we're 4.5 years in now. Um, and and just so you know, we did the third anniversary party for the Spanish because it took me about a year to get the courage to do this in Spanish. Where we are and where we're going is just in this beautiful frame and beautiful space that we listen and we find and we feel what our next step is. And our next step is to bring this podcast out to bring more people to awareness of this sacred community of Global Heart Healing. That's at globalhearthealing.com, by the way. And we're eager to spread the word, spread the mission, help more people be in personal empowerment and find through their heart which way they are supposed to go. With all the love in the world, we share that.
So you kind of just follow your heart at the end of the day. You follow your heart.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So your question about when I wake up, I knew I got a little lost on that answer.
Yeah, the balance.
Yeah, I actually just lay in bed for a little while and I connect to my heart and I ask, where am I? Am I imbalanced? Am I ready for my day? What should I do first? How should I really employ self-love in the form of self-care? Um, and we actually just kind of compress time and we don't spend as much time working as we used to. We spend more time allowing and finding
Yeah.
and just zipping through. you guys, time can be compressed, and there's lots of beautiful ways to do it. And
Yeah.
so, and I also spend the rest of my time when he's home with my incredible soulmate, Doak Harris, who's another, there's a whole nother story about manifesting love, because that happened 35 years ago. Um, and I'm ever grateful every day for our partnership, for who he is, for how we both feel. And that he didn't decide I was crazy 7 years ago when all of this energy started moving through me.
Oh,
Um, because, sometimes you can grow together and sometimes you can grow apart.
grow apart. Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
that was
And
definitely not how it went for us.
yeah.
It's just
Oh, that's
been
lovely.
deeper, better, more beautiful. And there's really beauty for everyone out there. If
Yeah.
we can, sometimes there's just some energetic blocks that we need to remove. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. 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 Setting the intentions in the morning and even at bedtime actually is a wonderful way to start and finish the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something that
In the morning, I just
everybody
really
should learning.
yeah, in the morning, I really kind of tune in and ask what I need and what I should do before moving out of that space,
Yeah.
and I get clarity. And at night, I just spend the night before it, when I get in bed, I just spend the evening hours. I don't do a lot of screen time later because I want to rest well. But when I get in bed, I just do gratitude. That's what I do. I
Yeah.
just, and there's always so much. It's so fun.
No, no, there is. I mean, when you start to think about it, there's it is endless, isn't it? But it's
It is.
interesting you said about time. I recently heard of it called Einstein time. So get on Einstein time and you'll manage to do all the things that you need to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can do them quickly. Once we get into the flow of understanding how we practice what we practice, we can do it in the blink of an eye, really. We can make miracles happen, can't we? We can. Okay, so now we move on to thinking about the future. What do you think is the biggest challenge the world faces when it comes to healing, and how can we begin to overcome it right now?
I honestly think the biggest challenge that the world faces when it comes to healing is believing that you cannot. And part of that has been taught. We have been taught to be powerless. We've been taught not to trust ourselves. We've been taught not to go within and listen to our hearts. And that's the first place that we want to share, that it is a safe place. And you can listen in here, and really, you guys, within seconds, if you will just get quiet, put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, and go within. And don't even do anything except be there and breathe. And you will start creating heart brain coherence. And that is a beautiful thing you can learn through the Heart Math Institute, but you can simply do it with yourself, just breathing, just being quiet, going within. And there's specifically, you can breathe in for 4 counts and out for 6 counts, and start getting your heart in connection with your brain and just creating that coherence, because that changes your whole body,
Hmm.
changes your
Yeah,
whole body, changes your energy, it changes your power. It creates a power within you where you're like, all of a sudden, you're calmer. You can look at the same problems that you were looking at before when you didn't have a solution in mind, and all of a sudden, you'll start seeing a path of,
yeah,
oh, oh, I'm telling you, it is that simple. It is
mhm,
within you. The answers are within us. Um, so so kind of get away from all the outside noise. Try to center yourself and just start the first step. And the first step, truly the first step, is intention. If you choose to heal, you will heal. You
yeah,
can heal anything and everything.
hmm,
So just trust yourself and start. That's all you have to do. Start. So
yeah. And what's your message to the world from your heart right now?
Oh,
What do you want the world to know?
you are pure love. The power of humanity is heart consciousness. It's not just love, it's being heart conscious and aware, because that is your connection with everything and everyone. And that is a safe place to be. And you can learn how to put shields up so that you know that your energy is protected. Those are all things that we teach. It's not hard. It's as simple as saying, shields up. And I feel it when it happens. So I had not actually put my shields up because I'm in such a safe space and I'm in such trust here. But I do feel it still when it goes up. And it's a good thing to do even now, because this is going to go out in the world, and
Yeah.
this needs to go
Yeah.
out and be heard where people need to hear it.
Yes.
And I pray that it comes to you in a safe and sacred manner where you can hear it, where you can
Well, the
feel it.
intention was set, so that's going to be how it's going to go.
Yeah.
If there's any one thing that you could share with somebody now that they can take away from this, that they can use daily for their own healing and their own benefit, what would it be?
Uh, Honestly, there's a lot of tips and tricks that are easy to do, but my favorite, probably my favorite of all, is called the Holy Instant. We kind of call it the Holy Joyful Instant because I've added some energy healing into it. But I'd love to do that right now. Um, the Holy Instant is from A Course in Miracles, if you're familiar with that. And it is a way to shift from fear to love on anything. But then we also put a little energy movement with it. And so I'm just going to tell you right now that the energy movement, we are electromagnetic beings. You can just take your hand and you can pull from about your mid stomach up over your heart, over your face, over the back of your head. And that is the governing meridian and the conception meridian. Um, and the penetrating meridian. So you're going to move a lot of energy, and what we'll move that is specific time. I'm just wanting to show you how we'll do it. So we're going to start. I'm going to make it very short, maybe a minute. Okay, so just put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, and go within. And for a second, put your fingertips in the middle of your chest to see if you can touch and feel your heartbeat. And just share gratitude to your beautiful heart. It's your constant companion. It keeps your life going every day. It powers your body and it guides your light and soul on the path that is best for you when we listen. So, and this is where your love is going to come from. So, right now, just take a minute and breathe in for 4 and out for 6. When you're exhaling, actually blow that out. Through your mouth. Perfect. Continue that. And at this moment, you're in a safe space. We raise shields of divine protection. And I ask you to find a place or a situation or event in your life that is very disruptive, that you are very much struggling with, that is painful and problematic for you. And identify all the pieces and players and just take that moment to identify all of it. And you can now bring your hands out in front of your body and hold that situation in your hands. Whether it's a large or a small, whether it's personal or work or news or any of the situations that you want. It's your own personal choice. This is your personal healing. So hold everybody that's in it in the palm of your hands right in front of you. And just notice that because you've now moved your hands away from your heart, you have this situation and it's outside of you. So identify the feeling that comes to mind when you're in that pain point. Allow it, notice it. That energy is okay. It can be there. It's a vibration that we're going to release in a moment. It's okay to identify it and get in touch with it. So if you can figure out the emotional vibration that is radiating through that, generally they come down to fear, panic, anger, overwhelm, terror, horror. It's okay because we're going to move it. Ha ha ha! That's what we're going to move. So now just take your hand and do exactly what I said and remove that vibration with pure intention. We remove that energetic frequency, that emotion, whether it's fear, panic, terror, overwhelm, frustration, depression. Blow it out, blow it out, blow it out, blow it out as you're moving it with pure intention energy. Your intention energy is all powerful. You are in control and you remove that. And now bring your hands back to that situation and hold it and allow it to be different. And it's right there. It's okay. Now for a second, I just want you to identify, maybe is there a pivotal person or a pivotal personality or a pivotal characteristic of this situation? And if you can, identify the players in that and now see them as they are, but realize and look at everything they're doing now is from something in their past. And if you can, imagine them at 5 years old. They are who they are because of whatever is there. And they have some healing they need to do. So let's just blow love into that whole situation. Unconditional love does not mean you accept everything they're doing. They just need a way to shift. And you can blow unconditional love into that situation, event, or frustration. And now, one more thing. Forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself, for how you feel about how you let it disrupt your life. Forgiveness of the situation and the parts and the players in the event. Just let it go, because holding anger is actually harming you. And we just released all of that information, all of that energy. We released that. So now we forgive all of that. And now that the forgiveness and the love have set in, we're going to bring that situation and our hands back into our heart and bring it back into our body. It's still our situation. But when we open our eyes, we will now see that entire situation. Instead of seeing it through the eyes of fear, we will see it through the eyes of love. So it is, and so we let it be. One more deep breath in. One more cleansing breath out. Open your eyes. See how it feels. Namaste.
Namaste, Joy. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you for letting me have that time to do that. I know it was more than a minute. But
It was all compressed into seconds.
Good. All right. Thank you, guys. I hope that helps. And there are other places that you can find the Holy Instant, and we'll also make it available in a very short format.
That's lovely. Thank you, Joy. And thank you for all of the wonderful work that you do weekly, monthly, annually, every minute, every day, because I know that from personal experience that even when we think of somebody, we send in healing vibrations all the time, all
Absolutely.
the time. So,
Absolutely. And we can all do that, you guys. And you'll be
yeah,
astounded at how much better it makes you feel because you are suddenly no longer powerless. You know that you can help a situation simply by the intentional focus of shifting the vibration.
yeah. Well, final question, Joy.
Mhm.
Looking ahead, what do you see Global Heart Healing and this podcast? Where do you see it all being in 5 years' time?
Wow.
What's the vision?
You know, I have such trust that we are working in the right energy, and we always come back and make sure that we're in alignment. We ask for alignment and we keep our focus there, that I think the sky is the limit. And but I'm not worried about how it's going to go. I'm not. It's not about. It's not about. And it's not about humongous numbers, although that is what will help heal the world. It's about helping each person to take back their power, to embrace healing, to know that they can, to unlock their heart consciousness, to get their own empowerment back. It's in there. It's not lost. You just don't know
No,
how to find it yet. So that's I am satisfied almost every day, and I also am eager to see it grow. I'm eager to see people find this podcast, or people who are our members who love this sacred space um feel like sharing it and spreading the word that Global Heart Healing is here for you, and it is here for all of us. And I hope it just completely takes on a life of its own and just continues to grow into more and more languages, more and more locations. I Someday I think it would be beautiful to see live events, but it will always be online because we are global and we
yeah.
intend to stay global. And we'll be
Mhm.
here. We will
And we
be.
have live events.
Yes,
We
we
do
do
have
have.
live events
Right. I mean, live in
in
person
person.
events as
In
well.
person. Oh, that will happen.
It will.
Absolutely.
It
No
will.
doubt.
And by the way, those live events will still be hybrid, because if we're in location somewhere with, 2, 3, 500, 800 people, however many are there, we'll still make that available to our online membership who
Yeah,
cannot be there in person. That's
yeah.
how we'll grow, and that's how we'll serve. And we're just honored to be here doing
Mm.
this. It's my
Thank you,
journey,
Joy.
and I love it. And I
I
thank
know. It's so clear. There's so much passion and so much emotion attached to every word that you spoke. It's beautiful. So thank you for creating Global Heart Healing. There'll be many, many, many people that will benefit. I know I already have. And I know that there's, a lot of people in the community that have already experienced life-changing miracles and growth and transformation over the last few years that we've all been working together. So thank you, my dear,
you.
and we look
Absolutely.
forward to hearing from you again in the future.
We will. We will. Thank you so much. This has been
Mwah.
such a pleasure. I love you. I love you all.
Bye bye. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you, Sarah.